Hey everyone, it's Cal. I hope you're doing well. For those of you that don't know me, I talk about everything Kundalini. And today I want to go over the third eye material. And this is because I was watching a video of mine that I did on the third eye, and I said pineal instead of pituitary. And so I've just deleted it, and I'm going to go over this all again to be really clear. And I apologize for that. So I was talking too fast, and I said the wrong gland at the wrong time. So I'm going to say the glands at the right time. So now what happens with the third eye is, every time you are in meditation, and there's other ways that you can begin to open it as well, but I'm talking about meditation solely today because that's how I did it, through constant meditation. I sort of pressure grew my connections to the mother-father force, and you can do that through meditation. So the energy in the body, when it's running really, really optimally, it powerhouses in two directions. It gets pressurized towards the center, and it connects usually first to the mother force. It'll root, and then to the father force. It is from the earth that you're getting the power to connect back to the father force. All right, so I've done this little drawing here. This is a head and a neck for those of you that can't make it out. The pituitary gland is in the middle of the head. I think this is a little high actually, the drawing. But what happens is, after it roots, the energy flows up into the pituitary gland. And the pituitary gland is the master gland. It is the mother gland. And this is the gland that feeds the body. What happens on a daily basis is light comes in through your pineal gland. Your pineal gland organizes it into a certain algorithm, a certain set of frequencies, and delivers it to the mother, which is the pituitary. And then through, I think it's called endocrine signaling, through an archaic signaling, it's kind of like a Morse code, the mother feeds the hungriest babies in the body first, and then she feeds the rest. So that's how it works. The light comes in to the pituitary. It gets organized into a very specific algorithm, which we'll talk about on the webinar, by the way. And then this is kind of like the father, the pituitary, you can think about that as the father force, gives it to the mother. And the mother is the center. It's a little high, like I said, the mother is the center. And then she feeds the hungriest in the body, and then she feeds the rest. Okay. So now, when you get optimal energy flowing, what happens, the energy flows up to the pituitary gland, and it's going really, really fast. And the mother goes, wow, you're going so fast. I think that you're ready to visit your father. So she lets the energy carry on and move to the pineal gland. And the pineal gland has kind of like a swinging door. And when the energy, but it only swings one way. It's been swinging this way, but it's designed to swing both ways, okay? So it's been swinging this way because all the light's coming into the body. When the individual, the star seed, is big enough and ready for the picking, the star seed sends the signal to the father, and this door gets blasted open, and it connects back to the creator force. Now, the third eye is located in the center of the head. The third eye is the pineal energy, okay? So now the third eye is like an eye with a sort of perforated seal. Now this seal, when the force in the body is ready and it bangs up against this third eye, the mother force, the perforation rips, and you can actually feel it ripping. And it hurts. I'm telling you, it hurts like nothing you have ever felt. It hurts. And then when the energy is going fast enough, it blasts open the third eye, and if it's still got enough energy, it'll blast open the door to the pineal in the opposite direction. That door will swing in the other direction. Okay, so I wanted to be really clear, because when I watched that video, I went, that's not quite right. So I wanted to make things really clear about the pineal and the pituitary, okay? So the mother force, the pituitary is the one that's kind of the big controller. She's the big controller in the universe, and she's the big controller in your body. But he is the creator. He is the one that brings the bounty to the mother to feed the children, so to speak. And he's also the one that acts as a protective force in many ways by surrounding her. And you will see this on the webinar clearly. But these are general things to say about the mother-father force, but they are, you can see it in all things around you, because they reenact this sort of metaphor of being in everything. Okay, so when the third eye gets ripped open, the crowning comes, because this is the mother force. It is the mother force that brings the dove. All right, this is the meeting. The meeting of the two forces together at this point, okay? And the meeting of the two forces, the father force and the mother force, creates the dove when the glandular system is moving so optimally that there is an eclipse of the darkness of your being over the lightness of your being, okay? And when that happens, the same thing that happened in the body happens in the mind. So you have a cross that's happening in the body, okay? The cross is all your organs that are flowing optimally, and you've got the heart meridian here, and it also moves here. And when it when the two forces connect in the body, the mother-father force, that is the birth of the so-called rosy heart, right? That is the birth of passion, that is birth of love, and it's a righteous kind of love. Now, when it flows into the head, it also forms yet another cross, okay? So this crowning on your axis of being forms another cross, okay? And the cross is the alliance of the mother-father force to birth the being, okay? So you're being reborn pretty much all the time. Every time you blink, you're being reborn. Every time you go to bed and wake up the next day, you're being reborn. And so on and so forth, in so many ways throughout the day you can't imagine. Now, this is also being reborn on a greater level. So there are greater and lesser levels all the time of this sort of expansion and collapse happening. And it happens here. It also happens further into the cosmos. Everything is on repeat, where you get this expansion and collapse, expansion and collapse. But before the collapse starts, the collapse of the old system, there is a unification process between the mother-father force to birth the new being. So that's what's happening inside of your system. I hope I was clear today on the mother-father force, where it is the darkness of your being that is eclipsing the lightness of your being. And when that happens, you are dying to what you see and you're opening to what you know. And that is kind of the embodiment of the whole third eye thing, because you realize that the outward seeing is nothing but a dance of illusion, and the truth is hiding behind that. The big game player is that knowingness, that the birth of the true knowing, which is happening behind the scenes inside of you. And it's kind of interesting because I just had some somatic work done yesterday and had all sorts of stuff going on with me emotionally during this work, and my mind could not figure it out. And this is the realm of truth, the somatic being, the embodiment, the knowing, versus that which you see, measure, quantify, and theorize about. This is kind of the world of science, right? And this is kind of the truth behind the thing that cannot be explained, okay? And when we think about the universe, and I know I've said this many times, but you can't say it enough. When you think about the universe, think about a whole spectrum of light, okay? You got the whole spectrum of light in the entire universe is here. The entire universe, light of the universe, is within A and B, let's say. And right here, this little teeny weeny line, this is that which we see, okay? This little line here is that which we see. And so now we can see that this invisible light and this invisible light kind of acts as bookends. It is supporting all that which we see, quantify, and measure, but don't really have the full answer for, right? Because the full answer is that which the eye cannot see. That's the truth. So when it comes to the third eye being open, it is always kind of creaking open. And the more you trust yourself, the more it creaks open a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And the more you follow the invisible path, the more it creaks open, just ever so teeny. However, in meditation, you are going into the realm of the mother. You're going into the realm of truth. This realm here and this realm here. And when you go into that realm of truth, you are generating force to move to the center, to push it open, to gain more knowledge. And you can gain it in small ways and large ways. And if you have enough energy, after the energy flow moves through the third eye to open the gate in the opposite direction of the pineal, then you connect back to the creator force. So, and then you understand the mechanics of being, but it is in such, you know it in such a different way that it's almost difficult, even though it's so simplistic, it's almost like you deny it because you weren't taught that growing up, right? It's kind of like the elephant when it's a baby and the owner separates the mother from the child. Oh God, I hate all these animal stories. It's so heart crushing. And they put the baby elephant on a stick, and when the baby elephant is young, it can't pull from the stick. But then the elephant grows to be huge, and they still use that little stick, but it never tries to budge from the stick, it just stays there. This is kind of what the psyche does. We're doing this all the time on a daily basis anyways, when we bump up against things that our consciousness has never met before, has never known, and can't identify or can't process. And this can happen in times of trauma, or this can happen throughout your day when you're dealing with other people. And when that happens, a lot of times we just deny. However, that can happen on greater and greater ways. And I'll tell you, it is difficult to process the light because of this, because we were brought up with the basic teachings of how the planets rotate and their interconnections between them and what that means for us on Earth. We have a real cut-off view from sort of all things that are beyond the Earth. And I can understand, because science can't measure and they can't quantify, but really science is hypothesized pretty much 99% of the time anyways. And even the laws of physics, which we deem to be absolutely true, are not absolutely true. They change according to different factors. So I'm not a scientist, I don't want to get into this discussion, but I do want to say, when I first came down after doing the Kundalini, or tried to come down anyways, I've been trying to land the ship for 14 years, I think I'm there now. I spoke to so many physicists, and this was back at the time when the internet was just barely starting. So, you know, these really prominent physicists were so amazed to have, you know, some questions sent to them from somebody else in the other part of the world, asking them about things. Now, everybody's on the internet and doing stuff. But at the time, many years ago, when the internet was kind of just starting up, it was novel to be getting, you know, an email from someone that was, you know, living in Canada, and they were living in Brussels, or they were living in Brazil, or, you know, Zimbabwe, and they got this email from this person saying, hey, you know, in the laws of physics, when this and this happens, can two bodies have this? And a lot of cold fusion questions and things like that, just due to my experience. So getting back to the topic of the third eye. So the third eye is associated with the pituitary gland, okay? And in the earlier video, I was suggesting, or I was saying pineal, and the two got quite confused. So I really wanted to be clear about this. And one way you can think about this, you know, so that there is absolute clarity, you know that the universe is feminine, and that doesn't, we're just using the archetype of feminine, okay? It doesn't mean that it's really a woman, and it doesn't mean that the father fourth is really a male. We are using archetypes because they have the characteristics that describe the undescribable. So think about the mother force as the center, the pinpoint, the pole that you've got to tether yourself to at all times. She is the center point, and the father is the creator. He is the superstructure around her. She's the infrastructure. He is the superstructure circling her. He is the creator, and he's magnificent. I'm always talking about the mother. Because, well, she is the mother. She is the one that is unbiased, full of love, demands inclusivity, demands togetherness. And he is the one that is the alpha. He's the one on the outskirts, you know, doing fantastic things and always helping her. And what she wants is to raise her child into higher and higher awareness, and he's the one helping her do that. It's actually, when you really get the concept, it's mind-blowing. And to really get the concept of the mother-father force, I had to go deep into quantum physics, and then I had to go up into the galaxy and talk about the macro after looking at the micro. And wow, same thing is happening in both. It's just happening on larger and in larger and larger ways. But anyways, you'll see that in the webinar. Yeah, so I just really wanted to be clear. I was absolutely horrified that I had said pineal instead of pituitary, and I thought, oh my God, this goes against my search for absolute truth and to convey absolute truth. So I had to come on and absolutely set this right, and say it all the right way, okay? So the mother is the force that is crowning you, okay? The father is the force that is the creator of the whole system. And the father is the alpha and the mother is the omega. The father is the fantastic peacock, the creator. I never say enough about the father force because I'm always talking about the mother, but you get to one point where you really realize, wow, the father force is what it's all about. And then you get to another point where you go, no, the mother force is, because the mother force is completely without judgment. Completely without judgment. The father force is the just one. The father force can be signified in the system of life as the justice system. He's the one saying, you must do good and not do bad. He is the one that's saying, he's not saying tit for tat, but he's saying, this is not right, thou shalt not, etc., 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 etc. The mother force is the one that is the nurturer, the lover, the all-understanding, because she is within everything and she accepts everything, because she knows the standpoint from where everything is coming from. And she goes, yeah, I really understand why you did that. Oh, poor baby, I understand. You are not alone. I am here with you. And the father force is the one saying, what you did was wrong and you need time away to think about your actions so that you can participate in a better way. So both have their merits equally. And you can understand the evolution of religions when you know these two basic concepts, and then you understand that all things are right. It's just shifting the perspective. And so there you have it. This is about the third eye and energy flowing through the third eye. And I really wanted to talk about the center point in the body, like the opening of the heart chakra too. I just wanted to say something there. When the energy is flowing so optimally in the body, but it's not meeting those higher thresholds, you still have an awakening of the heart. But it just goes to higher and higher thresholds of being when you can really get that flow going super fast. This is why health is so important. Exercise, meditation, equally important, I would say. At the time I meditated, I was a powerhouse exercising. I was exercising for hours a day and loving it and getting my natural highs through exercise, and then I was doing meditation. But there came a point where I went, I'm done with exercise. In meditation, I'm going fully into meditation, and I stopped exercise completely, which was really hard to get back into, let me tell you, because I used to, exercise was my most favorite thing. And to get back into it has been just the most painful thing ever, but I'm getting there. And when I stopped exercising, I was up to 14 hours a day in meditation, and it really felt like only a few minutes in meditation. I was also doing sun gazing too, and a few other things. So for those of you that don't know about sun gazing, I will talk about it. I also want to talk about breatharianism, which is not eating. It's actually super valid way of living, but there are a few factors that you need to be aware of. So I was trying things out when I was doing all this meditation, because quite frankly, when you're doing a lot of meditation like that, you really start questioning the way you're living, and you're looking for different ways of living that you can maximize your energy flow, because it's the energy flow is making you feel so high, like naturally so connected and so good. And you don't have to do anything, because everything is arriving at your door, and you're kind of like, whoa, thanks, I actually did need a new car and I just haven't gotten around to it. Or, oh, thanks, I did need a new place to live and here it is. So it's pretty fantastic when you get to those higher thresholds of meditation. And incidentally, when you're meditating, I just want to point this out as well. When you're meditating, it's not like you're not having activity. Your body is getting stimulated all the time, so you're not getting atrophied muscles, you're not getting cellulite, you're not getting bed sores, because you're at the high levels of meditation, and it's actually activating your entire your cells in your entire body. So I really wanted to point that out too, because every day when I meditated, when I got up, I felt so refreshed, so high as a kite, so strong and so alive, so healthy and good. It's when you start meditating for a long period of time when you haven't built the practice, because you need to build slowly. You need to build your practice ever so slowly, and I did. I built it really, really slowly. And when you build it slowly, you optimize as you go, rather than trying to jump in up here. So that is really critical, to start that practice slowly. And when you're trying to jump up here in your meditation, but you're really here, that's when you get sore muscles, Charlie horses, cellulite, and all this other stuff. So you really have to build. It's the building of everything. And this is the same way it is with health too. You just don't go into the weight room and lift, 300 pounds over your head. You have to build the practice a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. It's completely the same principle. And of course that principle exists within everything. When you're learning a new job, when you're learning a new skill, when you always start small and you build on what you know, brick by brick by brick by brick, to get to have a strong force in whatever it is that you're doing. So, and this is because when you're training the mind needs downtime. So you're coming in, you don't know anything, you give the mind something brand new to think about, boom, it needs downtime after only a little bit of time, because that was a whole fresh new thing and it doesn't know it. And so it gets exhausted way earlier. It's not like, oh, this new thing, give me all the details, I can figure the whole thing out. It doesn't really work like that. It has to start small and build the sort of snowball. It has to snowball a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and you build that whole beautiful, beautiful resonance, which ends up being divine love at the top there, and that's power. That is power. This whole center axis of your being is building this power on a daily basis. It is building this power, and we're babies, but at the height of human, we have come such a long way, 24,000 years. We are here now, we're in these bodies, and now we're starting to build this resonance and be able to control our force. Being to build force is one thing. Being able to control it is another. So we have to build it and then we have to control it. And again, it's just like lifting weights. You have to be able to lift it, but you also have to be able to control it. I mean, those weights can fall on you, can fall anywhere, and it can be devastating, right? Or devastating, that is really the wrong word. It can hurt someone or something. So you have to be able to control from small weights to big weights. And this is the same thing, because when you get to those higher thresholds, you are holding infinite Mack trucks on your head. And really, I have to say, that is what it's like. It is so heavy, and you are holding it all right here. It actually feels like it's right here. And it is full on. So we are at the height of human, we are building our force, our conductivity, our connection to the mother-father force, and we are prying open that third eye, which is right here, and getting the energy to flow fast enough so that it goes bursting through there and that there's enough resonance to open up this two-way door that is up here with the pineal gland. So I'm trying to explain this in super layman terms, and I hope that I conveyed a clear picture of what is going on. And of course, these are the real basics of what is going on, but still it's fantastic because it's the story of you, how far you've come, where you're headed, and your power, really, your power. It's a beautiful story. It's pretty much the story of love from your mother-father force, creating a system so that you can rise and you can have an incredible consciousness, because you come from the blackness of being, which is pretty much weak, dark, and just sort of drifting out there in the cosmos. But this consciousness has been roped together with the seed of light, the two together, and you are becoming far more, you've been on this path for 24,000 years, and you are becoming so far greater. You have snowballed up to the human form, and it continues. Well, your mind body is complete, but the expanding of yourself continues in other ways. So I'm going to end it there because I don't want to start my usual ramble, and I hope you got something from this video. I hope I was clear. I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to have you subscribe so that I can give you more content that can serve you. And other than that, I hope to see you next time. I hope you all have a great day. You guys take care. Bye for now.